Today we're having a look at the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Funko action figures. From left to right we have Deet, Rian, Hup, a Silk Spitter, we have a Skeksis Hunter, and we have All-Maudra. Each one has the same card with the Chamberlain Skeksis in the background and along with the crystal. Pretty cool. The back of the box looks the same for each one with all 6 characters showing. Let's get into it. Alright guys, here's a look at the figures outside of the box. Standing together, they look great, and I hope they bring us more from this show. Here's a closer look at Hup. You can see the detail on his face. It looks really good. Looks almost like the real puppet. You can see the shimmer off his eyeballs. Really good paint job on these. Got a little pouch accessory on his belt. He's holding his little spoons, or swords as he calls them. Look at the back side of his little coat. You can see all the detail that went into this. For articulation on Hup, he'll bend at the elbows. Oops, there goes his sword. Both spoons. He's got a little joint at the knee, but I can't get mine to bend. It's kind of really tight, so I don't want to force it. But his thigh will move. His shoulders will swing out a little bit, but that's about as far as you can get with him. His head, it'll spin back and forth. I hadn't tried to force mine 360, but I mean, what's the need in doing that? And his little spoons, they'll slide in his hands pretty easy. I like to rest mine up against the strands of his sleeves that are hanging down, because if you don't, they'll fall a lot. But let's set Hup aside here and come on to the next one. This is Rian. I think that's how you pronounce it. I was calling him Rian, but it's Rian, I'm pretty sure. I really love the color they gave his hair and his eyes. It's like tealish green. From the back he looks like a June bug or something. But I really like the colors in him. He's got a bend at the elbow, and he also has the shoulder swing. But seems like with all these figures, the shoulders don't swing out really far, but you don't really need them to. He's got knee joints and thigh joint. You can see his little sword accessory he's got. I can't get the camera to focus for nothing right here, but you get the idea. He's got a sword, and in his right hand, if I can get some zoom in action on this, you can see his little vial he carries. Really good detail went into these. And refocus here. Up next we've got Deet. We're going to take a look at Deet. She, as another person reviewed, said that she looked a little too green, but flying here, Deet. I don't know. I think they got it right. Going back and looking at the show, she's like lives underground in the caves, and she kind of has a glow to her, so maybe that's the look they were going for. Deet didn't come with anything except for her wings, which are really a pain in the butt to get plugged in. Her shoulders will swing out a little bit, and she has bends at the elbows and the knees and thighs as well, just like Rian. I love the detail in her dress. It's a little shredded up stuff, shredded material. Her hair looks really cool. You can see the detail in her little braids and her little butterfly looking wings. they look really good. But they are a pain, and as you can see, I just dropped one. Trying to put this back on off camera, it's tough. You gotta wiggle that thing in there in between her hair. But you press in there pretty hard and it'll stay, but I'm almost thinking about gluing them in because I don't think I'll ever need them off. Right here we got All-Maudra. You can see the one-eyed lady. She looks really cool. The detail on this one is I think it looks a lot better than the last one they gave us. A few years back, I think it was, I can't remember when it was. I don't have that series, but I think it's funny the way they did her feet underneath. Her shoulders will come out a little bit too, just like the rest. I think that's about all the articulation you'll get out of her. Here's a look at her staff. Can't get the camera to zoom. It's focusing on the background. But we'll put that back in her hand. She holds it pretty good. Actually, let's take that out and I'll show you her little robe comes off as well. It just has little flaps that go in between her arms. She's got a big old rump there. And I kind of like the look much better with the robe on. Show you how easy it is just to slide right back in there. Pretty cool artwork they give on the back of it, straight up from the show. Get her all straightened up there, put her staff back in, and like I said, she doesn't even move. Her head won't move. Her arms are about the only thing that move. She's old. What do you expect? Don't need to move too much. Up next we have my favorite figure in this series, and that is Skekmal. I think that's how his name is pronounced. He's known as the Hunter Skeksis. Got some gruesome Skeksy face going on there. Excuse me. See the little extra arms in the back and little bones and stuff they got all over his costume. It's really cool. A lot of cool detail going on with this guy. See his little tail going there. His back arms they just kind of spin. It looks like they had a joint like inside there, but it's not at the elbow, but it's underneath. He's got an elbow joint on his front arms that you can bend down, straighten out better, but I just like him in this pose. Say you can swing the little back arms. You can get those in different poses to make it look like he's getting ready to run or strike or whatever. You see this guy on the show, he's really cool. He's a bad guy, you know, but as an action figure, I think he's by far my favorite. He just looks really, really cool. His head will move, swivel back and forth, and it kind of move up and down. And let's not forget his little skull that he comes with. It really sets him off. It makes him look really bad. I'm a Skeksis. But he looks awesome. I can't say enough about him. He was my favorite. And if I wasn't going to get a whole another set, here's a closer look at the skull. But if I wasn't going to get a whole nother set of these, I was at least going to get him so I could open him. But I did wind up getting 2 sets of these so I could open some just to show you guys. That little skull just sits right on his face pretty easy. Get him in a cool pose. I like the old cross swords. Now let's take a look at one of the swords real quick. Pretty cool little details. You can slide that back in pretty easy. Stick the handle down in his hand and you can swing the blade out around his knuckles. Seems the best way to work. And, oh yeah, he's got a little wrist movement too. His wrists will swivel. Let's set him back here and knock Deet over and have a look at the silk spitter. He's a big dude. He's got all kinds of little articulation going on here. He doesn't need too much, but he's got plenty for a big creature like this. He's got a little neck swivel. He's got like a, I guess, waist swivel, if you want to call that. And he also has these where his legs will go up and down just a little bit, and they will spin as well. So you can get him in some really cool poses if you take the time to. You don't want to push down on them too far. They'll go up and down quite a bit, but if you go down too far, you may just pop that out of there and you'll have to end up gluing it. But you can see how you got some pretty good movement there on that back leg. He's really cool. Have a look at some of the detail in his face. You can see the little red eyes, I guess is what it's supposed to be. Ready to strike. I can't remember what those creatures are called. They're called silk spitters, but I think they're I can't remember. Arathum or something maybe. I'm definitely going to have to go back and watch this show again. And at some point, we're going to have to go back and check out the Dark Crystal original film. Here's a final look at 360 view of these guys on stage without my grubby hands in the way. Here we have Hup, of course. And next we will have a look at Rian. Let's let Rian have a spin here. Trying to make this a quick video, guys. We'll bring up Deet next. I just really love her wings, but I just hate how they keep falling off. So I'm probably just gonna glue those in there maybe. I'm not sure. They're getting on my nerves every time I touch her. Up next we have All-Maudra. I forgot to even mention her ram horns in the side of her head and her mustache, but she has a really good likeness to the show. Here again is my favorite. It's the Hunter Skeksis. I think his name is Skekmal. I had to look that up. I think they say it in the show, but I couldn't remember. Just think of Darth Maul, but this is Skekmal. Love him. He's awesome as a figure. And here, last but not least, we have the Silk Spitter. I got him in a crazy pose here, hanging on to the stand of my little spinning thingamajiggy. Let's take a quick look at Jen from the first generation of figures, and here's Rian up beside him. They're probably exactly the same size, but I've yet to take Jen out of the box, and I probably won't. I don't know. What do you guys think? The only reason I took all these guys out is because I have 2 sets of them, but I've only got one Jen with the Landstrider. I'm not sure I'll unbox him. Let me get my camera steady here. I want to bring in one more special guest, just for comparison. The Pumpkin King. Here's the Pumpkin King from the Nightmare Before Christmas line. Probably my favorite line until this line came out. But let's have one more look at these guys in their more natural habitat. I brought them outside and set them in my little flower bed or whatever on the rocks. Just a really awesome line, guys. But that's gonna do it for this little review. I appreciate you guys watching. I would love to have reviewed them out here, but there was just too much going on outside. Too many neighbors, people bothering me. But thanks for looking, guys, and hope you get you a set too.